welcome back to another episode. Oh my god, dude. It's been a while. It's been a while since the last time we did this one. What is it, 3 weeks?
4 weeks, 2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah. So, we're back. We're back. Consistency, baby, all day.
Sorry about the dumbass dog upstairs. I
It's
tried
annoying.
to get him, he just keeps on barking, but we're going to keep going through it. We're going to fight through it anyway. We're gonna
Keep it down, Buster.
We're going to persevere.
Persevere.
Persevere through it. Persevere.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You got it.
I got a South Florida GED. It's not really.
It's not the best.
So, what we're going to talk about, we got a few times. We got a special guest back again. He's almost becoming a intricate part of the podcast.
Yeah.
My brother-in-law,
I'm Paul Keto Liberal.
And you know, as always, you know, what you eat don't make me shit. CB Lifestyle and Apparel. Alright, that's the way it's gotta be. I don't worry about what's in your pockets, don't worry about what's in mine. Just go get it. We also got Enough is Enough.
Enough is enough. Let us breathe.
87treasures.com. The link is there. You can get them. Like I said, I always drop a new product. Aim to please, you know, keeping up with what's going on in the culture. So we're gonna go through a few topics today. Like I said, we just try to keep with what's going on in the world and everything, and try to, you know, have the conversations that regular people are having every day.
Yeah, try to be a little current, and there's a lot of stuff going on right now, so it's not just about, we're not going to hit everything on a nail over the head, but we're going to do the best we possibly can to do that. We're going to bring up different ways to even look at that topic and just go from there. I think our first one we should.
What's crazy is I'm just looking at the video, and it's kind of weird because, like, I'm mixed, right? I'm black and white, right? And then I have somebody who's black and I have somebody who's white, but I'm in the middle. But it's just, that ain't making
It is weird.
I'm just
Did
saying.
you set this up on purpose?
We didn't set it on purpose. It's just something that we did. But it's good. But anyways, so, you know, we're going to get to some things. So, you know, we were talking some topics earlier. We already had the podcast before we shot the podcast.
Yeah.
Which is bad when you start drinking and stuff. So we got off a little bit. But we were talking about, I was reading a book and they were saying there's no dead end jobs, just dead end people. And, you know, we all had our own opinion on it or experience with it. So we're just going to go through that because, you know, I thought it was a good topic to talk about. And I think it can end with, you know, giving some people a different mindset, different perspective, maybe down the road.
But McDonald's is a dead end job, right? But in the long run, like you were saying before, it becomes something else. It becomes you owned a couple, you know, different restaurants, or you and there's good money in that. You're not just the burger flipper. That burger flipper will take them a while to get from point A to point B to point C, but point C is where the money's at. It's just gonna take a while. So maybe it's all into perspective. What do you think? Because I'm thinking that somebody who's working for my company or working for another business is looking at his low-paying job at that point, and it's gonna take a long time for him to get there. So is every job not a good job? Like right away?
Lowest paying job?
Yeah, lowest paying.
I would say the thing is, you know, I'd say jobs are a stepping stone.
Yeah.
So it's not really where you want to be or where you want to end up at. You're just working that job at that moment, just to help you get to where you need to
the
be
next
at.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So are some of them dead end? Yes, but it all depends on how you look at it.
Right.
You know?
True. Yeah.
It's dead end if there's no way of growth.
Right.
If they're not trying to promote you, if they're not trying to give you any type of raise, if you'll never be a supervisor or manager, then that's dead end.
Yeah,
It's not
because
getting
you know
you
you're not
anywhere.
the only job you're getting is the person who owns the company, maybe.
Yeah. So, but as far as that's one way to look at it. But another thing is, although it's not getting you anywhere at that time,
At that moment, right?
at that moment, you can still use that knowledge later on in life for something else. So.
Or that work ethic.
That work ethic too. And that's a lot of things you can. When you start getting really good at something, that's what I've always said. You get really good at one thing, you can pretty much get good at almost anything.
Yeah.
Because you invest in that, and you put that time and that effort. You learn something. You figure something out about yourself. And when it comes down to it, on top of it, you built up that integrity in your work. It's better than it was before, and then you can transition that over to any job. Realistically, like you said, work ethic.
Yeah. So when I first moved here from New York, 2004, 2005. You know, the first job that I got here was a demolition job. Just tearing stuff down, you know, for remodeling them.
Yeah.
$8 an hour as a laborer for like an agency or them labor pools or whatever. Like I did a lot of those. You know what I'm saying? They ripped us off paying $8 hard labor. Matter of fact, Miami is built on a lot of this labor. Cheap labor, all these high rises, all this stuff that you see is basically built with those people. And I've done that for a long time. That was dead end for me at the time because I knew I wasn't really going to get anywhere. But have I used a lot of that knowledge?
Yes.
Did I learn a lot from that? I did learn a lot from that.
Of course.
So it's just,
there's always something you can pull out of it, even if it's...
So a lot of things that I'm doing now is like, okay, I've been doing some type of construction.
But you know what? I was thinking about this the other day. Schooling kind of prepares you for that. Because what you do, you got to show up on time, right? You have certain periods and times for lunch. You have to sit in a spot where you kind of don't want to do the thing that they're trying to teach you, but you have to kind of learn. It's the only way to do it. They kind of like prep you for the working field.
Yeah, they prep you for the working field. To get a job.
To get a job. That's what it is.
But are there good things about school? Of course.
Oh yeah, of course.
We're going to school.
There's still things you're gonna learn. There's still things. I'm not an early morning person, but I had to be there at like 6:30 in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I had to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning every morning to get there to catch a bus at a certain time.
It gives you that getting up early, going and doing something. School does it.
So
the thing I want to
do some things for me, of course.
The thing I want to say about you made a good point too is, you know, it's all about perspective too, especially when you're talking about a dead end job. But like when you were saying about if you're working for a place that's the owner is this guy who's running somebody else's his grandfather's business and this and that, you really don't have
too much
where to grow. Like, he's not gonna just sit one day.
He's not gonna step aside.
He's not gonna one day and say, "Hey, Moses, come over here and take over the business."
Do the thing,
right? And then now you're the owner of the business. It ain't gonna happen. That's kind of where you know it. Like when I was in a lot of trouble with the law, or whatever. At one time, and I went and got a job. I was working at a deli, and the person that owned the deli, I knew for sure like there's nowhere for me to grow at. There's no point where I'm gonna be like making $1 million and you know I'm running his business. This is his family's business that's being passed down. So you gotta kind of know that perspective. And the only thing I'll say about like, you know, McDonald's or something is, you know, you could, you know, work your way up, become manager. I don't know how much managers make. I know you know how much.
Yeah, about 15,
like
16.
60,000.
Well, you can make 50, 60. You know, if that's two people's incomes, y'all making 120. It's not a bad life to live. It's not. We were talking about this before. It's not the American dream.
No.
Where you want to be a millionaire and you want to live the lavish life. You're not gonna do that. Right. But you could be okay. You could live.
And you working a whole lot of hours.
That's true. And becoming a manager, you gotta work more hours. But I'm saying, but then eventually you can learn.
60,000, you there like a whole.
But you can learn from the franchise owner because all McDonald's are franchise owners. Maybe you can find out how you can get your own franchise and then piggyback off of that. So that's why, you know, a lot of jobs could, you know, people could
make the best out of
you learn some experience, learn something from that,
and bring it back to the school thing too. When you go into college, now you're with more higher educated teachers, and you get to choose what you decide to go for. I have 4 to 5, 6 maybe different options on the classes and courses I want to take because I'm not sure what my future looks like yet, and they have to choose that path, whether it doesn't work out for them or not, or it does. But they have to choose a specific path, and they get more of an opportunity. Same thing with work. I got an opportunity to work for BJ's and be a overnight management. I said I don't want to do that. I saw a future in plumbing, and that's where I decided to go.
Well, one thing I'll say about with school is though, you still when you get out and you got the degree, you got the PhD, right? It's great. But when you go to apply for a job, they're really gonna want somebody with experience. So then you don't spend college. And this is not to talk bad about college. I'm just saying, but then you don't spend 4, 5, 6 years in college, and then when you get out, you still got to compete because there's people out there that have experience in the position that you're in that they're gonna hire before they hire you
and experience
as a newbie, that's somebody that hasn't even done the job before. So, but the whole point was about dead end jobs. So I guess there is. We were talking about this earlier, and I said there was none. But from listening, I think there is a thing that is a dead end job. I just think
It's all in the eye of the
get you any-
because like I said, if you work for the guy, you own the restaurant, and I'm not gonna take your job.
Yeah.
So I know I can't grow to be
where you're at,
that
or
guy,
I can separate.
If I have
off
that,
and get my
some
own
people don't even have
business.
that.
I can create my own business.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you can learn from him, and then maybe go off of him and be like, ah.
Definitely.
So yeah, I guess I don't know. It's
So it all depends on how you look at
How
it.
you
It's
look
in
at
the
it.
eye of the
Yeah.
beholder.
Yeah, so it's like, okay, is it considered dead end job because you can't be the CEO? But then again, you learned
Something.
something from him
Infrastructure.
that got you to where
You could
100%.
actually do it yourself.
So, how you
Yeah,
look
how you
at
look
it.
It's all
at
about
things
on
and
your
respect
mindset.
it.
Yeah, that's why I say that all the
It's
time.
all
Yeah,
about
yeah.
on your mindset.
Nah, I agree with that. See, so that's, you know, this is things we're thinking about while we talking, and I'm thinking about my situation, my experience,
Yeah, mine
Marquito, Louis, and you know, these are real conversations.
Yeah,
man.
because you could be like, man, they ain't never gonna pay me what I want. I ain't
Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
nowhere. I can't pay my bills.
They used to call me that. I was Kawasaki. They used to call me
Kawasaki,
Kawasaki.
Yeah.
Luke. It's talking about
Look, we keep
Kawasaki
making
Luke.
money.
I used to be in the car. He used to be like, I used to call him Kawasaki Luke. It was like a motorbike. As soon as we get in the truck,
What's going on?
I was like, Luke,
I like
calm down.
Kiyosaki though. I like Kiyosaki.
Yeah.
Now he talks some real stuff.
No, he
No,
talking
no,
about
Kawasaki.
I'm not Kawasaki motorcycle.
Oh, no.
I
I
used to
thought
be-
you meant
No,
Kiyosaki.
I know you talking about. You talking about Rich Dad Poor Dad, right?
Yeah, yeah. I thought
No,
you
no.
said,
He,
okay.
I'm talking about him because we get in the truck
Oh, the
after we get.
motorcycle.
Yeah.
And how it goes
You used to
wham,
just,
like a
I used to be
crybaby.
like, bro, you like a crybaby, like wee, all the way to the next job. I can't do this. I'm like, I'm like, hold the brakes. I said, you'll be alright, bro. I promise you.
And it's the same thing. Thinking back
So-
then, how much I was crying,
Right.
I was learning a lot
was
more.
complaining
I was
about a lot of
complaining,
stuff.
but yeah.
It was the cash. At the end of the day, you get your check and you like, I got
What
$400.
the heck is this?
You like,
Yeah.
what am I gonna do with this?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, okay.
That's what
I
it
had to
was.
get there
So when
eventually.
he got the check on Friday, he like,
Yeah.
bro,
Mhm.
he only want to give me a raise, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like,
I wanted
we
that.
going to, I was
No,
be like,
that stuff will
"Wee."
frustrate
Yeah, it
you.
will, it will, it will.
But it's all
So that's why we having the
Working hard,
conversation.
If you're working hard and
Yeah.
you can't get
They can't
But
move
that's-
forward.
what you worked for,
Yeah.
come on, that's
But
your
it's
That's
all
why we
about-
having the conversation.
and what you feel like you deserve.
For the people in that position, or the kids, or the
Yeah.
younger people, listen,
and
man,
you
just
want
use
people
that.
to
use
respect
that.
you. You want people to,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? Even though it's
I'm
a
a-
business
I was
like
thinking
that,
about this too,
be
working with the
fair.
chip on your shoulder. Isn't
Uh-huh.
always the worst thing ever because it does
not
motivate
the
you a
worst.
little
It-
bit
it
because you
motivates
want to
you. Mhm.
do better.
Yeah.
You
You
want
should
to
have a chip on your shoulder.
Yeah.
You should be wanting to
You want to compete.
get out of there, man.
Yeah.
Or you should make them want to, so they can negotiate for you. Now it's at a point where Lou, he goes to a plumbing company, he tells him how much you want to
It's
make.
business.
But that's
It's a bit, I'm
I don't
my
know,
own
15
business.
years, 16 years, 17 years of plumbing.
Yeah.
I take
So
myself.
there's
as
a point where
I'm
you
an
get to
asset.
that, and maybe that's, that's
Yeah. It just takes a long time to, you have to put in the work, you have to put in the time.
yeah, perspective.
You know,
So,
overall.
so that was a good.
Is it worth all that time?
Yes.
That's a whole
Well,
nother
that's a whole nother
conversation.
conversation.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
is.
It depends on what you want. Again,
Right.
some
Is
people
it
are
worth
happy.
all that? So it
Some
took
people are
you
happy
like
just.
18 years
Yeah.
to make 30.
Well,
Correct.
if you realize that you were stuck in a dead end job early,
But
and
you gotta
go,
look at.
okay, well, this avenue, this lane isn't for me. I got to move on to the next lane.
But as long as you look at progression, like I feel like I'm progressing.
You have to be
I'm
smart
going
enough to
higher.
know.
I'm not stopping
Because I'm
now.
progressing
Cannot waste
too,
your
but
time.
like shit,
But I don't-
$19?
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
We ain't gotta talk about exact numbers. God
Damn.
He makes $1 million.
Million.
We
Makes
we at
million.
podcast. We good. Stop. What I'm saying is, listen. What I'm saying is, it doesn't end. You know what I'm saying? It won't end for you.
It won't ever end.
It's like I was watching a video with Patricia, right? I mean, with my wife, and she said something. We were watching about billionaires on Netflix. They have like a bunch of things. And Mark Cuban is looking, saying Mark Cuban makes $4 billion a year.
Right.
He's looking at the list. He's like, damn man, I don't make shit. And I'm like, and then he says I have to catch myself and slap myself.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause he made $4 billion a year, but he looking at the
But
man
he
making
looking at
It's never
90.
enough. It's
Yeah.
never
And
enough.
he's like, shit, this man make
Right.
90 and I make $4 billion.
And
He
again,
said it on the thing. I'm like,
Yeah. It's
but
a
that's
good
the
thing.
same way right now.
It's a
The
good
same
thing to
thing we
think
talking
that
about
way.
now. But eventually you can make it. You can
Yeah.
just keep.
It's not that he doesn't
Most
appreciate what he
millionaires
has.
don't.
He appreciates what he
Most
has.
millionaires don't make their money till they 50.
Yeah, but they
40s and 50s.
It's always
so-
good to keep the mentality of I appreciate what I have, but I want more.
But again, it's not about money because I say this all the time. It's about time too, because you don't get your time back. So make sure
I
you
think
invest
time
in
is more
it.
important than money.
You don't get it back.
Word.
You can lose money. I done lost money. I done got it back. I
It's
done
your
doubled it,
time.
tripled it. I lost that, came back yet again.
Mhm.
But my time I lost during that time, I can never get it back.
Never
You
get
see
it
the
back.
gray hairs? These gray hairs are from the time I lost.
Mhm.
That's what I count on.
You
10
think that
years,
you like
20
shave
years.
it and like get rid of it,
Yeah, so-
dye it. He doesn't. He's just gonna keep it that way.
So yeah, so you know, and that's it. Another thing I think we want to get another topic too was hindsight 2020.
Yes.
And it's always easy to look back. I say this all the time. People always have a good theory about looking back
Yes.
on in anything going on in their life or whatever. And they're like, man, I should have did this. I said, hindsight to me is perfect vision. Because then you looking back and fixing the things that you wanted to
Yeah,
fix.
well, it helps you grow overall. But sometimes I'm in the shower and I'm like, damn, I should have just kissed that girl that one time.
Oh, God.
Man, I should have
Don't
just
say
did
that
this
now,
thing.
you-
Oh, sorry.
you
Oh, I'm on
married.
the podcast.
That's not-
No, I'm just
I ain't got
kidding.
nothing to do with
I'm
that,
just saying,
man, I'm telling you.
frustrated with mistakes that I've made back in my past and not have. Yeah, maybe I learned from them, but I still have in my head, like, man, I coulda, shoulda, woulda. Coulda, shoulda.
Have that.
I go out with Jay-Z. Jay-Z say don't live with no regrets.
No regrets.
And that's the thing, you know, it's just we live and we learn.
Yeah.
That's it.
And from
Hopefully.
what we've learned,
Hopefully we know.
I would hope that, you know, most of us would be like, okay, this is what I went through. So let me help some people not go through the same things and just, you know,
Exactly.
help to have a come up with a solution and help to bring progress. You know what I'm saying? So,
Be part of the solution.
yeah,
Part of the solution.
I
for the
agree.
people that came behind you so they don't make the same mistakes
Right.
and that they don't do the same thing you do and just
And it's
let
also-
them know their options
You're
out
giving
there
back.
and
You're giving back to the community. You're giving back to society. That's what I
I think that's what life is anyway.
what life is, yeah.
Like I tell you all the time, like my son's great grandkids are probably not gonna know me. They probably not gonna be
See
like,
pictures
oh,
of you.
my great grandfather was Moses Watts, unless I leave something so impressionable, something so drastic that it like takes care of them when they get to the my son's sons.
Yeah.
Then they're not gonna remember me. They're gonna remember my son, and then you get lost in history unless you create or do something big. So that's my whole goal is I want to do something big enough to maybe my great grandson will be like my great granddad was Moses Watts and he left this.
I want to die a legend.
But that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. You got that legend. You want to be
Die
remembered.
dormant?
Either
Yeah.
die
I
dormant
want,
or
I
live
want
dormant.
Parquito Daniel Liberal to be a legend.
Legend.
Yeah.
You gotta
Like
do
I
something.
die and people like, you know what I'm saying?
They mad. They
Yeah.
mad you died.
Damn,
Right.
man.
Damn, Parquito.
Like yo, he done
Like
did
when
a
Nipsey.
whole lot.
Yeah.
Like when Nipsey
Hey,
died.
Oh, man.
When
that's a
Nipsey
great
died,
example.
that's when I started my clothing
felt
line.
That one
I'm
too.
so out there.
I
felt
started
that
my
one.
clothing line when Nipsey died because I was like, damn, Nipsey had everything he said
You see the shoes I
was
wear
like,
and
Oh,
who-
yeah.
everything he said was like the way I was feeling, the way I was thinking, the things I wanted to do, the things I still I'm focused to do. When he died, it was like, damn,
We lost a good
I was
one.
mad, bro. I was like, when he died, it was
So
and that's why he'll be, he's one of those guys.
He'll
He
be remembered.
probably
That
will
was
remember.
somebody that was actually doing something.
Doing
different
something
for
for
his
the changing
community.
everything. And he lived in
He didn't just
Hood.
talk it, you know what I'm saying?
No, he was living
He
it.
lived
And he
it.
talked in
He was
his raps. His
speaking
it.
raps was saying it,
That was
and
the
he was
thing.
saying what he was doing, which that was
That's
He
the best
remembered where he came from.
shit.
He didn't have the best background.
Didn't, not
and,
at all. He's still,
you know, and
still embedded in the hood.
Yeah.
But he was doing
Yeah,
stuff.
that's
When
a
you lose
perfect
them, you
example.
feel it. You feel it.
That's
You
my
just-
guy, man.
That was a loss.
Nipsey was
That
hurt.
was bad.
Nipsey hurt my heart.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
He hurt my heart. And that's why, I say, like, I want to be like
That's
like
so
So
I-
that.
to be
I
remembered.
feel that whole
Especially for the
phrase
people
that
that I know.
marathon continues for
That's it.
sure.
I just live to be remembered. I do everything I can on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, minute-by-minute basis.
People
to
you run
remember.
into, people you interact with,
That's it.
and
My
you
whole
gotta
life.
do some things, man, that's gonna
Yeah, when you talk about Nipsey Hussle, that's what he was doing.
change
Had
everything.
Computer labs.
Man, he did. I don't know. I think it was a coding thing he had going
Yeah.
on. He was giving. The crazy thing is when he got
Technology, yeah.
his life taken, he was giving clothes to somebody who just got out of prison.
Yeah, yeah.
Get him back on his feet. It's like, man, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? That's why I wanted my clothing. I wanted my brand. I want to be able to people to see that and give that back too. Do turkey drives, do food drives, do Christmas drives. I want my hood to be like, mom, and then from there, go on to something.
Yeah, or somebody.
Freaking guy, man, from a country that
From-
most of
I
us
don't know
probably don't even.
Forgot the
That's how rare the country was.
Really?
Yeah, I forgot the name of it.
African
He from
country.
there.
where
His dad
some
is from
people,
there. His dad lives there, I
Wow.
think.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's a country that people ain't never even heard of.
I feel bad.
You know what I'm saying? That's how rare the country
Yeah.
is in
Wow.
Africa.
I feel bad.
And I I be up on these things too, and I don't even remember what this country is.
Well, what he
called.
did, man, he changed it, man. He made a different way of thinking. Even the way he started his whole career. You know, when he was selling his records for $100 a piece, and then well, you know what happened? This is exactly what I'm saying. Jay bought like 100 copies or whatever for like 15,000 because he seen the man's hustle. And that's legendary. $100 a piece. You selling your mixtapes. So this is like he did some legendary stuff, man. That's why I can't. That's my guy. That's my guy, bro. Like Nipsey was the guy, bro.
I think everybody felt it. When you lose somebody like that, the world just stops for a minute. You're like, oh man.
But that's what we were talking about. Like we want to be.
And
like
the thing is, a lot of people didn't even know what he was doing.
No.
They didn't even recognize him until he died.
Until he passed
You know
away.
what I'm saying?
But here's the thing.
He was just starting.
Here's the thing too. When it happened,
get bigger.
Every time somebody passes away in a big way, their past gets brought up, and his past got brought up, and the light that it brought.
People start doing their research.
Yeah, but
on
it
who
brought
he
up the
was.
light portion of it. It didn't bring up any
I
dark.
can't even say the name, but
Yeah.
it's the state of Etria
Etria.
in Eastern Africa.
Wow.
It borders
Eritrea.
Sudan. Yeah, it borders
That sounds right.
Sudan and
Yeah.
Ethiopia.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's,
That's what he looks
yeah, that's where
like,
he's from
too.
too.
That's
His dad
definitely
looked like him. They all
what
look. They all look.
Yeah.
Dad and brother. But anyways, that's like what we're talking about as far as being. You know, when we leave, that's what we want to. You know, everybody. You know, that's what we all three of us think is about. We want to be remembered. Right? And that's something to look for. That's not a bad thing, even though you could say it's kind of vain,
Or
right? Because you think about
egotistical.
yourself, but
Nah,
if
you're
you're
not
doing
thinking
it,
about yourself at all.
well, you are because you want to be
Yeah.
remembered. What
But
I'm
at the
saying is
end
you're
of the
doing
day-
it to help people,
Yeah.
so they do remember you.
positive.
Right?
At
Whoever
the
I
end of the day,
infected, yeah.
If you have the knowledge and you keep it to yourself, or you
or
have some
resources.
type of input like that, and you
Insight.
keep it to me, that's more selfish.
Yeah.
When
Well,
you,
selfish and vain
yeah,
is
when
two
you
different
had
things.
that information or you
Yeah.
had that
You won't even
mindset
ask.
that you could have helped somebody else
Yeah.
with,
Well, yeah, selfish and vain.
and then
is-
you kept it to yourself.
Here's another thing too, is an opposite flip on the coin, just to be devil's advocate. When me and Mo were starting out, we realized that we were in rich people's houses all the time. People who hustle and make a lot of money.
I be in them
And
cribs all the time.
we just started asking questions.
I asked the question.
We started
all the time.
bringing up
how you made money.
Hey,
I met,
how'd you get where you're at?
I met people that started
I just did
glassing,
a
glasses.
quote the other day for a Baltimore Raven.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I see Raven signs all over.
Well, you ain't really got
But-
to ask him how he got his money.
Yeah,
But
you know what I'm saying?
still-
but it was the fact that I walked in there and
It's
I'm
the,
like,
you know
okay.
what it is? It's the white guy that I go into, and I don't even. He just looked like a regular white guy.
Yeah. He has an office. He
I
always
don't
has
Those
an
get
office.
me all the time.
But I
get
asked
those
him-
all the
But
time.
I,
have an
but I
office
asked him,
with
I'm
books.
like,
I get that all the
I
time.
asked him, I'm like, I look at the books, I'm like, do you read this book? And then I'd be like, what'd you do? And then the guy like, oh, I started a glasses company in New York,
Yeah.
and I retired, I sold it.
Mhm.
And that's it.
Yep.
All right. I need to find some more information about
And
how
they're
you
always
did it.
working on something. They're always working on something else, on
It's
something
like,
new.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I go into these people's
You just
homes
gotta
all the
ask him, bro.
time.
I'd be like, how you do
How?
this?
What happened? Give me a
Tell
little
me.
bit of a background.
Just
of the
tell me,
story.
give me a little bit. Just give me a
I had
little
this
bit
one
from everybody.
doctor where
I don't get into that much
I
conversation
try
with the
to.
clients.
Yeah.
I do that on my own time when I meet these people,
Yeah.
but not on the
all the
client.
time,
You
yeah.
don't want to get in trouble, but I feel it.
No, I do it. I
I
Because I love to hear the story.
Because
I'm
when
like,
we're wrapping up at the end, or they'll even share a couple of other things anyway, and then at the very end,
some of them tell
we
you.
get to chat.
Some of them will tell you their whole story. Shit, you just ask
Yeah,
one
you're
question, they
right
start
about
telling you
that.
about their kids.
Now you're right.
And it's
You're right.
like,
You're like, anyway, got
all
to
right,
go.
good. No, I'm saying this is good information,
No,
but
it's
Shit, if I can get some of that information on the clock, I should start getting
Yeah, I get it.
just ask.
Because I get into
Hey,
their homes all the time.
Listen, I tell myself, if you don't ask for it,
Yeah.
the answer's always no.
And sometimes it's like you in the crib, you know they did something.
They had to.
Yeah.
You
'Cause they
just trying
crib
to
is-
find out like, yo, what
it's
what
too
do they
much money.
do? Like, who is this
Yeah,
person?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Who spent $10 million on a condo?
I get worried because they.
who
when
is
I-
this person?
When I walk in, I always look at pictures.
I look at the pictures
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
I try to see who's in the pictures.
Who is-
Bro, I went.
Yeah,
I
I've seen
tell them.
different pictures.
I went to one. They had a picture. They handshaking with Benjamin
What was it?
Netanyahu, the prime minister
Netanyahu,
of
Okay, yeah.
Israel.
Yeah.
They handshaking with
I
John
had
Kerry.
people missing with pictures with Bill Clinton.
So I'm like, I gotta ask.
Yeah.
After that, I gotta
Yeah.
ask. Now after that, I'm like, what
I've
do you do?
had people with
Um,
Colin Powell.
What do you do? I'm
yeah,
just
this
doing
dude
for
is
my own
something.
knowledge.
He's somebody's
I'm just doing for my own knowledge.
One
I'm
of the
trying
things
to
we
see.
noticed too, like they had a vision board and they had a board of a
I've
picture
seen
of America,
those,
right? And he had,
yeah.
they had a bunch of like pins in it.
Well, I
I've
have that
seen
same.
that.
Yeah, now Mo has
Travel.
the same thing because we
I got
actually
I got my travel thing from his old couple
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
that was living on the beach, and they had this big map, but they've been all over, man. They done trekked, they hiked
Mhm.
in Europe, they hiked
Yeah.
in like Middle East. It was crazy.
Mhm.
It was like they killed me, but I did the same thing. I went and got a map, put pins on it. These are the countries I want to go to, and these
So
are where I'm gonna go. So, like I said, you could use some of this, man, and especially the knowledge. Yeah, you gotta ask.
Don't be in your own way. Ask the question.
Yeah, ask. You know, the answer's always no if you don't ask.
A lot of my clients have motivated me.
Yeah.
The fact that, okay,
They'll tell you the story.
I see people that have goals.
Yeah.
I'm at the crib.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Word.
You
I
invited
see
me to your house.
right.
Yeah, so
It's not a story.
Word.
Yeah.
It's not a second-hand, third-hand
For
story.
real, like,
No.
I see it. I
It's
see
coming out of the
boats.
mouth. Yeah.
Like, yo, this dude got boats and that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Those are crazy.
I've been different places.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm
I done
a
went
top
to
surgeon in America.
Word.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit like that.
Uh-huh.
And I'm
Like on the boat.
Oh, I had no idea. And he's talking to me and looking at me like, you're smart.
Fix my
You're so
problem.
smart.
Yeah.
And
He's
I'm
like,
like,
fix my
me?
problem.
Yeah.
How can you help me? I'm like, all right, I
I
got you.
got you.
But you are knowledgeable in your
Yeah.
own
In your own
area.
check.
My own
Yeah,
area.
everybody
You know what I'm
is.
That's what he
Yeah.
was giving me.
So I'm looking like a genius to some of these people.
Well, that's why.
Yeah.
But see, that's another thing. I tell people all the time, if a neurosurgeon is going to be really smart about
Yeah.
being a neurosurgeon, that don't mean he's smart about everything.
He's a
else,
plumber.
That's
right?
not all.
It doesn't mean
He's
that.
a chef.
He's
Knowledgeable
really
in
knowledgeable
that
about being a
area.
neurosurgeon.
Yeah.
So if you could, you got to take that into consideration. He's not financially knowledgeable. He's probably rich,
Yeah.
but he's not financially. But you got to ask him, like, what does he do? Find that out, and then you use what the knowledge, and use it for yourself, man. It's like, but you got to ask. If you don't ask,
No.
you just gonna guess.
But I do try to provide information for the up and coming plumbers or the, even like my brother, stuff like that. And I just try to drop a little bit of knowledge or a little bit of my experience at least. Maybe not be an ass about it and say I know better, but just try to drop a little bit of a lesson so they can skip over
Lessons are
that
what-
mistake that I had made
lessons
before.
are what
I've
help
already
you
been
next
down that
time.
road. You don't want to go down that one. Trust me, do this instead, and they do it and it works. Yeah, most of the time, unless they're closed-minded. But
It
usually,
is what it is.
yeah.
Like, but we were talking about. I think we were talking about hindsight.
Hindsight, that's where we were at. Yeah.
Yeah, but hindsight is, I think when you look back, everybody can give you the perfect example or the perfect reasoning.
Mm.
And then the perfect reason or whatever when they look back at something, and it's easy to do that. But yeah, hopefully you just learn your lesson. If you can look back on a situation, you learn a lesson from it,
Mhm.
you move forward, and you don't repeat that lesson. And that's what hindsight I think is good for. A lot of people.
My dad used to tell me all the time, he goes, dude, I don't know what's wrong with you, but it's like in life you just keep walking into the same thing of drywall and you just keep walking in front of it and you think that you're going to
Correct.
somehow get up and then you go, all you need
So
to
you
do
didn't
is
look
just
back
open
at
the
it.
door
You didn't look at the
and walk
hindsight.
around.
Or you're gonna make a door. Some people say you gotta make a
You gotta
door.
make a door.
Some people do that too. So I guess I don't know. You know what I mean? These are just thoughts we having, but
Right.
All right, makes it soft.
some people make their own door, man.
If it's just a wall and you can't
They
get
cut a
through
door
it,
out.
Yeah.
fuck it.
Or just go like this.
Cut a
wait,
hole
this
in the
is-
wall. Yeah, make a door.
Make your
Make
own
a
door.
doorway.
There's good crafts.
Yo, cut it out.
Cut the
Make
door
your
out.
own
Oh, y'all don't want to let me in
It's
this
just
side?
drywall.
Y'all don't want to let me in this door?
know where
I'm
the
gonna-
studs
I'm
are?
gonna saws all that bitch and cut everything out.
Yeah.
I'm here, guys.
I got it.
No.
Like, well, that's one way to
You
do
don't
it.
wanna
That's
let
one way
me
to do
in.
it. Hey, you can do it that way too. So
But the door
we're
is-
saying, all we're saying is you guys got to go forward.
Yeah.
Fuck it. That's what I guess. That's the point of the thing. Forget about anything else. Just go forward.
Yeah.
If the wall's in the way, cut the wall out.
Juggernaut. That's what they
If
call
the wall is
You wanna be a
steel,
juggernaut.
or the wall is
Oh,
like
you getting stopped there.
material,
You stop there.
if the wall is steel, don't try to go through the
You
wall.
may wanna
You ain't
use the
gonna cut
door.
it. You might want to try to find that door in
Yeah,
that
yeah.
thing. That's all I'm saying. Like that. So I guess that's the point of what we're saying. Is,
Yeah.
if it's there, cut it. If it's not, go around it
Go
or
around.
jump over.
There's
it or
always a
something. I
way.
don't know.
There's a way.
Get away through it. That's all I'm saying.
That's
Fuck
it.
it. Just push your way through.
Alright, go ahead.
And then we got and we're not gonna.
We got 5%.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us for another video. We had fun. Hope you guys had fun. We laughed. I hope you guys enjoyed it.
That was
Like,
awesome.
subscribe, share,
Share. Hit the
comment.
notification
Whether you
button
like it
below.
or not, like I said, check out
And leave
www.cblifestyle.com,
Don't be shy.
87treasures.com. Like I said, leave a comment, subscribe. If you see something that you want us to talk about, or you have something that a topic that you think should be talked about, leave the comment.
Leave it
and
in the comment.
I definitely we will talk about it. I promise you, because we have no. You see, we have no no holds up about talking about anything that's going on
No.
in the world. So I hope we gave you some good motivation, or at least some stuff that you weren't thinking about and you're thinking about now.
100%.
So we're gonna sign off. Got Parquito, Lou, Thirst for the Truth.
Yeah.
Come back and visit us.